remember, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have no right of asking you to come to the aid of anyone at this particular point. It's a bad time for all of us. But my request to you is be your brother's keeper. Just give the little that you can. Let's help the 14-year-old, the 13-year-old girl go through this fight. She's stranded in India. She needs 4 million shillings. We have the pay bill number. We'll put it up for you later on in this broadcast. If you can, please just help. All right? That coming up in just a bit. I saw your questions in regards to that. That's why we had to clear it up. But for now, let's bring in the CS. Joe Mucheru is the ICT CS, also joining us now live. We're talking about innovations. Yeah? They say that we need to create our own local solutions. Now, the ministry has come up with a challenge, what they call the COVID-19 Innovations Challenge. And that's what is about to speak to us now. CS, thanks for making time for us, and thank you for being so patient. So, just quickly, what is this COVID-19 challenge really about?
Thank you, Trevor. The way the country is right now, there's a lot of innovations that people are taking on that will help us be able to move to the next level, especially using technology to take care of the challenges we're facing. So what we've done is, because so many have been coming, we've created different avenues of people being able to provide the support that is necessary. So the first one is this challenge. The Konza Technopolis is created the COVID-19 Innovation Challenge. And this challenge is supposed to get in 3 areas, about 5 innovations that they can now take and move to the next level, implement them as businesses. These are hackathons. So they've taken the area of health. Within health, you're looking at all the areas of COVID-19. How do you help the health system take care of all the challenges that are there? You've shown already issues of telemedicine. So many aspects of health. The other one is the logistics of food and water, just making sure people have sufficient ability to receive food wherever they are. There's a lot of social distancing. You're seeing challenges with transportation. And with all that, we're looking at what are the innovations that we can put in that space. And that will then be able to help us be able to improve things and make them better, not just for now, but also in future. And then the last one, because there are 3 areas, is looking at the digital jobs and digital opportunities. Many of our young people have been already working online and providing a lot of skill support to companies overseas and even some locally. So the challenge is for companies to come and compete. The best innovations that will come, they will pick 5 in each category. They will not only win some cash prizes, they will also be then handheld by Konza, all the way to ensuring that those innovations will be developed into businesses.
So how will you decide? How will you decide which one is the best, CS?
So they have a team that they have selected, and that team is then going to then look at all the different innovations. And it's based on those innovations and that team that they are going to select. Actually, it's not from the ministry. It's within the Konza Technopolis.
So is there a chance that some of those innovations will be used here now? Because we've seen some people develop even ventilators, and we've seen very many ideas like M-Safari. There was an app that had been developed which helps in contact tracing. Can they be used now?
Actually, the plan is for them to be used now, because the challenges are now, not actually in future. What we hope is, if you look at the SARS epidemic that happened in Asia, companies like Alibaba, companies like Tencent, WeChat, they came out of those challenges that those countries were facing, in Asia. So we hope that whatever innovations come out now, we not only use them now, but we're going to see significant businesses coming out of that. So it's now and in future.
So let's make this practical. A young man or a young lady somewhere has a great idea in terms of fighting COVID-19, and you said there are 3 categories: health, food and water, and jobs. Where do they go? They're at home, they have that idea. Where do they start?
So first they don't go anywhere. We are still using the social distancing. So they go online. They will go to the Konza Technopolis website, konza.go.ke, and then /COVID-19 challenge. So that is where they will put in the applications, and that's where they'll be able to start the process. Or if they just go on Google, they can just search the COVID-19 challenge, innovation challenge, and they'll be able to find the link there.
But how do you protect them then, CS? Because there's the issue of patenting. If you have a fantastic idea, how can you guarantee that it would be stolen by any other person?
So let me say, this is not something new we've been doing as a ministry. So when we started and we began to receive some of these innovations, we created something called the white box, whitebox.go.ke. And in the white box, you come, you present what your ideas are. We have a partnership with KIPI. We have some legal people. You go through that whole patenting process first. You're given all the information that you need. And after that, if you still want to go ahead, then now you submit your idea. And we expect to do exactly the same, so that these ideas are going to be homegrown and are owned by those that actually bring them forward. Yeah. A lot of transparency and openness is key. And this is also why, other than those who want to go for the challenge, I also set up the COVID-19 ICT Advisory Committee that is made up of private sector, it has academia, it has all the different government institutions. For instance, health is there, the ICT, so that again, in an open way, you can bring your ideas and you help take these ideas to the next level.
But CS, the main concern has always been bureaucracy. For example, M-Safari, which was just a contact tracing for PSV passengers, was approved 4 weeks ago. But bureaucracy, it's stuck in the pipeline. Nothing is happening.
I'm not sure what you mean in terms of bureaucracy. Approval, once we have agreed, we are also not the ones who are using this application. It has to go either to the Ministry of Health or to the Ministry of Interior with NTSA. They also have their processes that they go through. So we present to them and say, here are ideas. This is how they can either use them in government, or the same idea can be taken to the private sector and be used in private sector. So I have not seen that idea. It's one that I hope we can be able to see where those challenges are if there is any bureaucracy.
How exactly will they be funded?
So first, if an idea is one that we as government are going to use, then we will buy that idea and fund and support that business. From the challenge that we're talking about, the innovation challenge, they will receive, like the top prize in each of the categories is 500,000 shillings. Number 2 is 400, and so on up to 100,000 for number 5. And what will then happen is that we will handhold them. These companies, once they're being built and they're growing, they need to also be privately owned. Government doesn't want to have equity in them, so we'll make sure they are well exposed to potential investors, and the investors will come and also fund and move them forward. Those that we as government want to take up, we will actually fund and work with the innovators to move that forward.
So who is eligible? Is it open for everyone?
It's open for every Kenyan, Kenyans right now.
Okay, so the age doesn't really matter. Now, good. The other concern that people have been wondering is, what are some of the other ways that the government is supporting technology and innovations geared towards COVID-19?
So there are multiple ways that, as I've said, one, with the innovation challenge that we have, you can go there, you can compete, you can win, and 15 companies will come out of that. With the advisory committee that I have set up, you can present your ideas. Once you've presented your ideas, they will be filtered, they will look at them, they will see how they fit into the programs that we are working on as government. If you allow, we will even publish those to some of the private sector people that can be able to support or take up those ideas and grow them into bigger businesses. So there are different alternatives that you can use. We want to be able to expand, even those that want to go into academia, to learn. We want to see how we can even provide some scholarships for them. So we are looking at a whole breadth of opportunities, and those that just want to work, those that right now are not looking for necessarily skilled work like programming, artificial intelligence, so on, and they just want to do basic manual work. You may have heard from the president's speech that we have this way that we're working now with the counties, and the plan is to ensure that we have a national hygiene program.
Yeah.
All the counties working closely with the Ministry of Health need to ensure that the cities, the towns are actually clean. And so we want to hire youth who are going to go out, and this is starting on Wednesday, who will go out and clean these places and be paid on a daily basis. So we are making sure that we have all the different categories and many options that people will have to be able to come in. So the innovative and in how they can clean. There are those who have come up with some good innovations even on how to wash hands and soap dispensers. We're looking at how to support those new innovations coming out of the different young people.
Okay. Is this open to institutions as well, institutions that may want to take place? JQuat, for example, they have a lot of innovative ideas there on different issues.
So they're part of government. So I think they can already present their opportunities and innovations to the government, and they can get funding. We have, on an annual basis, we have the Nairobi Innovation Week, and the Nairobi Innovation Week is open for all these institutions, and there we provide some funding. And so they can actually get in and compete, and we'll see who comes out tops, again, because they have maybe groups coming in, and not just individuals. So whether they're coming in as a business or an individual has come with an innovation, we'll be able to work with them.
So also, CS, there are many other initiatives that are coming up. In fact, Alphonse Juma here on Twitter is wondering, he's saying that ask CS Mucheru, platforms like tujikinge.com already are quite engaging during this period and offering job employment. How can the ministry and the CS support such initiatives?
So one way is what we're doing today, just making sure that there's awareness and there's publicity. The first thing we as the government want to do is we want to make sure all the innovations we're doing are owned by the private sector. So if the innovations will qualify, we will look at how we can provide maybe some seed capital so that they can move to the next level. And that's what, as I've said, we're trying to do with Konza. But in many instances, our aim is to work with the private sector. There are various funds that are available that will be able to move some of these innovations forward. And I'll tell you, Trevor, we spent some time last year with the United Nations. We went to Silicon Valley. We went to Washington. We met many different companies. And some of those companies are the ones we're working with right now in this Konza challenge. And what we agreed with them is that we're creating an innovation hub. And this is a lab where, we are looking at the SDGs, we're looking at the Big Four, we're looking at our Vision 2030. And many of the companies or innovations that we have locally can be tied with either the academic institutions from Silicon Valley or the businesses that are there. And they can be able to work together and come up with products that we can now move forward. We want, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to even get some of these products and companies listed at the Nairobi Securities Exchange so that we can have even more people being able to benefit from those innovations. So the current process is vetting many of these innovations. We bring them into either incubations, so through the white box, which I had mentioned earlier. If you come in and you've gone through and you want some support, we've got a partnership with incubators and some of these accelerators. So there are many different options, and it really depends on what the innovation is and how best to then support it and move it forward.
CS, you keep mentioning Konza City and Konza Technopolis. Are we on track with that? Where are we?
That one we're on track. And really, I would encourage every Kenyan to be able to move just to Konza after these COVID-19 problems are away, and you will see the kind of work we've been doing. So one of the key deliverables was for us to present what is called the horizontal infrastructure. If companies are going to come and set up their institutions, they need roads, they need the sewer systems, they need water, they need electricity. So we have already set up the headquarters. So the Konza staff work already at Konza. They have offices, they have power, they have all the facilities that they need to be able to work from there. We're spending over 40 billion shillings on the infrastructure I've mentioned of all the roads. Another 17.5 billion is being spent on data center. We've got the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Already that is in the process of being awarded, so that then hopefully by next year we'll have the first intake. And again, we've got partnerships with the Ministry of Education, Many of the universities are setting up there. We've got a lot of private sector companies also setting up. But one I'm proud of is they're called Makueni Aka. These are ladies, women that have come together from Makueni, and they're investing already. They want to put up a facility and a building that they're going to lease out to people and create their own business. So in short, we are on track and fairly happy that it is moving. For a while, most people were asking questions, what is happening? Right now, I challenge Kenyans to join, to come and see what's going on and be part of the growth that is happening there.
Do you have a projection on when that will be complete?
For the horizontal infrastructure, which is the basic infrastructure of roads, that we want it to end by around November 2021. It may delay now to 2022. But for the rest of the buildings and infrastructure that businesses are going to come and set up in this first phase of what we're doing, then it's a Vision 2030 project. So it's the way a city continues to grow and evolve. But for phase one, which we believe is the most critical, really we should be ready with the horizontal infrastructure by 2022. And many of the businesses that have already committed to setting up actually should also be ready maybe another 3 to 5 years after that, most of them.
Yeah, so still on the innovation challenge, CS, there are many questions that I'm getting here of people with different apps that capture different aspects of the three categories that you just mentioned. What would happen to the second best, and what happens to the rest of the ideas that, given a bit of addition or oomph, would actually make for a very good idea? What would happen to such ideas that are still in the rudimentary stages, but given a bit of information could be better?
So the first ones get, as I said, the first winner gets $500,000 shillings.
Yeah.
The second one gets 400,000, the third one gets 300,000, and so on.
Yeah.
Those others will have the opportunity to present their ideas to the white box as well.
Yeah.
Whitebox.go.ke. They will have the opportunity, if they're specific to COVID-19, to present that to the advisory committee. And this committee is actually hosted by the Communications Authority. They're the regulator and they're able to assess. And if any of these ideas are assessed to be viable, or ideas that we can move forward, we're looking for funding to ensure that we can actually be able to support them and move them forward. And so that's where we are. Unfortunately, we have very, very many ideas that are only on idea stage. So many of the people who would call me or tell me that they have an innovation, it's something that they are thinking about. It's not something that they have actually deployed or that is ready. They usually want, I have an idea, give me money to be able to deploy it. Now, unfortunately, there are so many of those, and the ways to choose those is also fairly difficult because ideas, are ideas. Something that's been developed and something that you can use and touch is different. So we usually go for the things that have actually taken a bit of traction, where they need advice, where they need hand-holding. We look at how we can provide that. And initially, we're providing some of that through Konza. We'll be doing that through the Communications Authority and also the ICT Authority. So there are many areas that we're looking at.
Yeah, but CS, I'm already getting a lot of response here on Twitter of people who are trying, and they're saying that they keep getting an error message of resource limit is reached. What is the bandwidth of that website that you just gave to take on all the innovative challenges and the ideas that are coming from the people? Because they're saying right now it's already crashing.
The whitebox.go.ke. Is that the one they are talking about?
I can see here the one they're talking about is konza.go.ke events COVID-19 hackathon.
Okay, I will talk to Konza tomorrow because that shouldn't happen. They have 4 fiber cables, they've got a whole data center host. So, but it means maybe there are a lot of people watching this show and they've all gone at the same time and they were not ready for this kind of response. So I take responsibility. We will resolve that by tomorrow. Okay. Resource means that there are too many people coming at once, and I think the system was not maybe anticipating we'd have this number. Yeah. So I will deal with that by tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm happy to report back once it's fixed.
Yeah, I will definitely get in touch with you just to clarify on that as well when the bandwidth is done. CS, stay with me. There are several questions that came in from the viewers on video. We're taking a quick break here. When we come back, you'll be answering those questions directly from them, all right?
Thank you, Trevor.